The electric car market is heating up. Genesis has just announced that the GV70 is getting a fully electric version. We'll go through those details today, compare it on a spreadsheet, of course. We also got some updated details on the new GTR, as well as some Toyota Tundra ordering issues. Over at the Genesis Media Center, Genesis premieres the electric model of the GV70 at Auto Guangzhou 2021. This vehicle will eventually come to the United States, probably a year after it hits China. You essentially take the GV70, you give it a grille that does not allow air to pass through. It's more like a shield at this point for aerodynamics to increase the range. We don't have any video of it. These are definitely new wheels on the GV70, probably to assist with range. They look pretty futuristic. Looks like blades cutting through the air. If we zoom in, we have a better idea of the grille. Now, I believe there's also a cutout here, it could be right here, that allows you to plug in the vehicle through the front. You see the camera, of course, right in the middle of that grille. It doesn't stick out too much. It's kind of hidden in there. The cleanliness of this new grille is pretty impressive, to be honest. I really like it. And then from the back, you're not going to have any exhaust tips. So you're going to have a flat bottom here. Interestingly, this is not going to be built, I don't believe, could be wrong, I don't believe it's going to be built on the eGMP platform, which is the Korean's fully electric platform. I was looking at the interior. I really like this white and black. I'm assuming this is black. Yeah, white and black contrasted interior. Hey, I really liked the red and black interior of the GV70 that I have, the fully top-of-line sport model. Sport Prestige, I think that what that trim is called. But yes, this looks excellent. Definitely a lot classier and more modern looking than the G70 I was in a couple weeks ago. But that's all the images we have, so let's get into some of the details here. Features all-wheel drive system with individual motors for front and rear wheels. They're the exact same motor, and it generates a maximum output of 360 kilowatts. That's around 483 horsepower when you're in boost mode. That's going to be fairly quick. Look, the GV70 with the twin turbo V6 was already really fast, about 0 to 60 in around 5 seconds. This thing's going to be even faster. And just a reminder, it is only all-wheel drive. There will not be different variants, different battery pack sizes. There will not be a rear-wheel drive model, all-wheel drive only, with the same motors on the front and the rear. So 160 kilowatts on each axle and 350 Newton meters of torque. 0 to 100 kilometers in 4.5 seconds. So it's probably around 4.3 to 4.4 seconds, 0 to 60. Interestingly, they've given it a specific E-terrain mode, which gives you different driving experiences in various environments. To me, this vehicle is only going to see pavement. Now, range is important on an EV. We know this. In China, they're claiming 500 kilometers, but the Korean EV certification system, which is much more similar to the EPA, is around 400 kilometers, which is going to be around 250 miles of range. That is more than likely what it's going to be, is 250 miles of range. It's the same sort of rapid charging that we see in the Ioniq 5, the EV6, 10 to 80% in about 18 minutes. And before we get into that GTR and Tundra wait list, we need to go over the spreadsheet here. I just updated it. Well, it's not fully updated, but it's probably like 50% updated. I haven't really touched much on the Ioniq and the EV6 in a long time. And keep in mind, some of these numbers are placeholder. Anyways, I put the GV70 EV in here. And I don't even have the GV60 in here, but the GV60 is similar to this all-wheel drive model and this rear-wheel drive model here, if I remember correctly. One spec for the GV70, keeping it simple. 483 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque, guessing around 250 miles of range. I'm guessing around $80,000. That's before the credit. And the reason is the top-of-the-line GV70 Sport Prestige package is $75K. It's not a cheap car when you option it out. And 0 to 60 is probably around 4.3 seconds. Not as quick as a Tesla Model Y, which is going to cost a lot less, but the interior quality is going to be completely different. The quietness of the Tesla Model Y is going to be completely different. Teslas are very loud electric cars. There's no sound insulation or very little, and you hear a lot of wind noise and road noise in those vehicles. Because they don't have that, they're fairly lightweight for what they are, and their power and efficiency is really, really good. So anyways, 3.5 seconds. 5 seconds 0 to 60 for me is fast enough, but everyone's different. Some of you guys might prefer, the plaid sort of acceleration and like to live life on the edge. And I also updated it for the Aria. So if you look down here, we have the Aria updated with all the different packages. Now the first 3 packages for the Aria are front wheel drive, and then the top of the line, a dual motor, good spec here, 389 horsepower and a great amount of torque. 0 to 60, my guess is just slightly under 5 seconds, and it's going to cost $60,000 again before the tax credit. And to me, I would be getting either the Venture front wheel drive base, still expensive at $47K when you look at the Mustang Mach-E, which is $4,000 less and has more power, but doesn't have the range. So that is the trade-off, is that this front wheel drive Aria has really good range at 300 miles. I find that really impressive. It's not quite as good as the dual motor Tesla Model Y, which used to cost $50K, now costs $55K. So yes, their prices are always fluctuating. To me, the Venture front wheel drive and the Aria all-wheel drive e-Force models would be the ones that make the most sense to me. How many Mach-E GT buyers would be swayed to buy a Nissan Aria, which has about 100 less horsepower? It's not going to be quite as fast, but costs the same. Now I know the Aria might have a little bit more range, but you know what I'm saying? For $60K, you could get a Tesla Model Y Performance, Mustang Mach-E for $60K, or an Aria for $60K. How many people are going to pick the Aria? It doesn't look that great right now for the Aria. And depending on, yes, I have the BZ4X down here. Depending on how Toyota wants to price the BZ4X, this could be like the bargain, the reliable, long-lasting bargain of the EVs. I want it to be priced in the 30s. That's the most interesting thing about the BZ4X at this point in time. Not how it drives, it's the pricing, because the specs are so modest and it doesn't really compete with anything. This BZ4X all-wheel drive does not really compete with anything because the ID4, at least here in America, if you want the all-wheel drive, the Pro S, I think that's what it's called, gives you 81 more horsepower than the all-wheel drive BZ4X. Again, if this all-wheel drive BZ4X can come around 40K and the front-wheel drive around 35K, maybe we're talking some pretty exciting stuff here, and that's before the $7,500 tax credit. Anyways, it's supposed to be mostly about the GV70 here. I know there's more electric competition out there. You could even throw the Volvo XC40 Recharge into this to spice it up a bit. That costs around $60K as well, I believe, like the Model Y Performance and the Mach-E, but doesn't have the same range. So the Aria looks better than the Volvo XC40 at this point, but not quite up to the standards of the GT Mach-E or the Tesla Model Y Performance. But it's going to have Japanese build quality, reliability in theory. So it does have that going for it. And of course, all of them are built in Japan. And the Genesis GV70, they're going to build them in China, probably going to build them in Korea, and they're going to build them here in the United States and Alabama. So pretty cool there that they have a multi-pronged approach for electrification, but we need to keep moving. And we got some other good news coming from Green Car Reports. I met this gentleman, Ben, at the Toyota Evolution 2.0. Very nice dude. Anyways, though, the GV70 EV headed for production in Alabama. This is going to be the first fully electric Korean model to be produced in the United States, I believe, as well as the first Genesis to be produced in the United States. And they say following the GV70 EV, major models in the company's EV push will be made at Alabama too. Got to keep in mind, Genesis is going to be, well, they're planning to be fully electric by 2025. It's easy to do when you're a smaller company and you're just kind of getting your feet off the ground. There's a pretty good write-up over on Automotive News talking about Genesis. Their new COO, Claudia Marquez, says they need more brand awareness. Doesn't every brand, but that's what they say is really, really hurting them right now. The most important thing that I found in this article is them talking about their dealers and how they need dedicated dealers, which I 100% agree. Look, Lexus had around 100 dealers before the LS400 was even announced. They essentially had the horses out ahead in the wagon. And here we have the wagon out ahead of the horses for Genesis, and it's going to take some time for them to get their dealer network set up. So currently, Genesis vehicles sold at Hyundai stores. The first exclusive Genesis store is set to open in the first quarter of next year, finally. And they are expecting to have 150 exclusive dealerships by 2025. Look, Lexus has around, I want to say 220, maybe a little bit more. So that gives you a little bit of idea of the scale that they're going for here. And they really want to focus their dealerships on giving a Korean culture vibe to it. So I think that's pretty cool, pretty unique. And something that kind of Lexus did with the Omotenashi and the hospitality and anticipating the customer's needs with their dealerships. So we'll see how well Genesis is able to materialize these dealerships and make them uniquely Korean. Okay, I did say I have GTR news, and the debut is looking at fall of 2023, and it will be electrified, but not an EV. It's going to be the mildest form of electrification. It's going to have a 48 volt, well, not the mildest, you can have a 24 volt mild hybrid. It's going to have a 48 volt mild hybrid, and it's going to improve the horsepower to 750 PS, which is probably somewhere around 735 horsepower. And the price is going to increase as well. They're saying that the Pure Edition currently on sale is around $100,000, and I'm just roughly converting this from yen. But the base price is expected to raise to 14 million yen, which is probably something like $125,000 or maybe more. And then the Nismo version is going to be 200 million yen, which, you know, we're talking $180,000+ for the Nismo. So yeah, hold your horses to fall 2023. And if you do not want an electrified GTR, start searching now. And lastly, 2022 Tundra waitlist extends up to 1.5 years. I haven't seen any on the streets yet. I don't know if they're at, I would assume they're starting to trickle to dealers here. Now that we're in mid-November, it might be late November before we start seeing them on the streets. Cars Direct reports that Tundra's waitlist ranges from 4 months to as long as 1.5 years. That's according to sales representative of Longo Toyota, one of the biggest Toyota stores, if I remember correctly, in Southern California. And why is there going to be such a range there? Well, it's going to depend on the package, definitely. And it's also going to depend on the chip supply issue sorting itself out. Oh, well, here we go. They confirmed that the Longo dealership, largest in the world by land area, only 61 Tundras will be delivered to LA over the next 3 months. Good luck. It's like trying to find it. If you're a computer guy, it's like trying to find a new graphics card right now. Good luck unless you're willing to pay, I don't know, 50% over MSRP. I'm not saying that the new Tundras are going to be 50% over MSRP, but good luck finding one at MSRP. Buyers of the top spec variant will have to wait from 9 months to 1.5 years. And that's for the top of the line TRD Pro model, which doesn't go on sale anyways until spring of 2022. If you're in the market for a fully loaded Tundra, iForce Max model, probably there's a huge chance that you'll be getting a 2023 model, maybe even a 2024 model. But for the standard iForce models here, wait times range from 4 to 9 months. And still no information on the top of the line Tundra Capstone. I would assume that they are going to announce this trim when they give us pricing and fuel economy numbers for the iForce Max model. So probably going to wait till spring before we see the Capstone unveiled and announced. But I'll see you guys down below on the wealth of news we had today, ranging from Tundras waitlisted for 1.5 years, if you want the TRD Pro anyways, GV70 produced in America. Don't know when, but it's looking really promising. There's still a lot of unknowns about it, but I'm pretty excited for it. Much more than the GV60. But anyways, I'll see you guys down below in the comments. Smash the like button if you enjoyed today's content. Subscribe for more Korean and Japanese auto news. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.